I want to welcome you back to Thrive in the Word. Before we get into today's teaching, let me just ask you to do a couple things for us. Number one, if you like what you're hearing, hit the like button. And if you would like to continue to receive notifications of this video or this video series, hit the subscribe button and we will notify you every time a new one is posted. Another thing, I just want to remind you that if you would like to have the notes that I am teaching from, that are actually from, talking about the seven churches of Revelation, and beginning with chapter 1, verse 1, going through through the seven churches of Revelation. If you would like those notes, at the end of this video, you're going to find a web address. Go to that web address, and there's a button there where you can email me. Email me and say, I would like the notes that you are using for the seven churches of Revelation. And I will be glad to send you either a PDF file or a Word document. You can choose whatever you want, and you can have these notes. You know, I've got much more in these notes than what I'm able to do in our time in these videos. And so I would like for just to offer that to you free of charge. You can have them, you can use them wherever you want, free of charge. So will you do that, please? I want you to grow. I want you to thrive. And I know that if you'll get into the Word of God, you will thrive. That's why we call this Thrive in the Word. Now, we're in the 18th verse of the first chapter of Revelation. And we are looking at some of the most beautiful, some of the most powerful scriptures, I believe, in the Bible. It is so amazing. You see, we as believers, we need to see Jesus. We need to see his sufferings. We need to see him on the cross. We need to see him resurrected. But you know what? We as believers, especially for those of us who are living now in these end times, in these end days, we need to see Jesus as the conquering king. And that's what Revelation is all about. Revelation is all about us Jesus being revealed to us as the coming king. Verse number 18, Jesus is talking to John, and Jesus is saying things to John that are in preparation for him to experience and to see the revelation of what's going to happen in the churches and in the world. And this is what Jesus says to John, verse number 18, and the living one. I was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. I have the keys of death and of Hades. What is Jesus saying to John? First of all, it says, I am the living one. Now, if you go into the Greek text, the word one is not there. Actually, what Jesus said is, he says, I am living. I am living. The Greek word that's used there is the Greek word zon, Z-O-N, transliterated into English, Z-O-N. It's a derivative of the word Zoe, which is the God kind of life. What is Jesus saying? Jesus is saying to John, John, I'm alive. I'm alive. It's the exact word that the angel spoke when the disciples and when Mary came to the tomb and the angel said to them, he's alive. It's the same word. John is being spoken to by Jesus, and he's being spoken to in a way of assurance. And by the way, let me just say this to you. As we approach the return of Jesus Christ, we need, as believers, these words of assurance on the inside of us. Jesus is alive. He's alive. But not only that, notice what Jesus says, I was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. What does Jesus say? Jesus said, you know what? There was a time when I died. There was a time where I died physically. I died on the cross. My heart stopped beating. I died. There was a time where I was spiritually dead. I was separated from God the Father because I took your sin. You see, Jesus is not negating that, and we shouldn't negate that. But that's not the place that we always need to be concentrating. We need to be thinking about Jesus being alive. Because Jesus says, yeah, you know what? I died. But now I'm alive. And I'm not just alive, I am alive forevermore. I am never going to die again. Wow. You see, Jesus again is pointing John to his deity. He's saying, I'm alive and I'm not ever going to die again. That's already been done. That's already finished. I am alive. You see, Jesus is not hanging on the cross anymore. He is alive. Jesus is alive. I can't stress that enough. And you know what? In that very fact that he's alive, we find comfort and strength, realizing not only is he alive, but what does he say next? And I have the keys of death and of Hades. I have the keys of death. What is he talking about? Do you know what? He has the keys of, and this word death, he's really talking about the process of death. He has the keys. He is in control of that. You know, John has seen many atrocities that were committed by the Roman government. He's seen fellow believers put to death in persecution. They tried to kill him, they couldn't do it. Why? Because John knows that Jesus has the keys of death. You know, the greatest fear of a person's life is the fear of death. But Jesus has the keys. And not only does he have the keys of death, but he has the keys of Hades. Now, we're not going to go into a great theological debate on what that means. But Hades is the place of those who have died. Hades has two sides, or had two sides. It had the sides of the righteous dead. It had the side of the unrighteous dead. Jesus came and he preached to the righteous dead and took them on with him. That side of Hades is no longer in existence, so to speak. But Jesus has the keys. He is in control. Do you understand? I hope this has helped you today. God bless you until we speak to you again tomorrow.